Hey everyone, welcome back to Beat of the Soul. I hope you're all well. So, if you know me, I'm pretty sure by now you know that I'm obsessed with music. Well, back in the day, I used to be just as obsessed with TV and film.
Back in the days when I was young.
And I feel like there was a long period of time where I had a disconnect almost, and I wasn't obsessed with TV and film the way I used to be when I was younger. And I'm trying to tap back into that now. And the way my mind works, like I just see music in every facet of life. And obviously in TV and film, music is a very significant part of TV and film. So I want to get back into analyzing the music more in TV that I watch and film that I watch and create content around it. So here we go. When I saw the Woman King trailer in summer, I was like, I just have to see this. The visuals looked amazing. The trailer and the story seemed enticing. And you know I love violadavis. I'm obsessed with her. She's one of my faves. Such an amazing actress. And I'm going through this phase where I'm watching TV shows that I watched when I was younger. So I'm starting to watch How to Get Away with Murder again, and I'm absolutely loving it. You can never have too much of Viola Davis in your life. And I've also been watching some of the interviews that the cast have been doing. Well, I say some of, I think I've only watched the one on The Breakfast Club. It was great to hear more from the director Gina, and hear from Tuso as well, and of course Viola. And I think they asked some good questions, and it was good to hear more about the film, and it made me want to see it even more. So if you don't know what The Woman King is about, let me tell you. So the Cineworld UK description says, The Woman King is the remarkable story of the Agoji, the all-female unit of warriors who protected the African kingdom of Dahomey in the 1800s with skills and fierceness unlike anything the world has ever seen. Inspired by true events, The Woman King follows the emotionally epic journey of General Naniska as she trains the next generation of recruits and readies them for battle against an enemy determined to destroy their way of life. Some things are worth fighting for. So I went to Cineworld to go and see The Woman King, and the thing about me is I'm such a grandma now. I fall asleep so easily in certain environments. If it's like a dark room, if there's a certain kind of music or sound. Even when I go to bed now, like I need to watch something to fall asleep. It's really bad. I feel like it's a bad habit that I have, and I should probably try and go to bed without needing something to, fall asleep to. But it's almost like a comfort. So I feel like if I'm kind of putting myself in a similar environment, going to a place where it has like dim lighting and then something's playing in the background, it's almost like mimicking the conditions that I use to fall asleep. And then obviously the later it gets in the day, the more tired I get, and then the more likely it is for me to fall asleep. So when going to see this film, I was like, I need to go and see the earliest showing, and that's what I'm gonna go and see. And thankfully there was a showing early in the morning that I went to go and see, and it was so perfect. I didn't fall asleep. I didn't even like drift off or anything, and that is like a big accomplishment for me. And it was a great experience when I went into the movie theater because I was literally by myself for a bit. I was early, so I was by myself before the trailer started playing. And then as the trailer started playing, about 2 more people walked in, and I think that was it. It was just 3 of us in the whole cinema, all women as well, which I thought was very fitting considering, the subject matter of the film. And I like seeing the trailers that they showcase before film starts as well. So the ones that caught my eye were Gangs of London, The Crown. And with The Crown, it was so crazy because when I was with some family recently, and my auntie was like spilling all the tea of The Crown, and I always see people talking about it, but I think I might have put it on one episode once, but I didn't like one episode on once, and I didn't like watch it all. But the way my auntie was telling me about it, I was like, wow, I need to check this out. And then my nan, she was with her as well. They're almost like tag teaming, telling the story. And I was like, I don't even need to watch this. Like, I know everything. She just knew everything. But I was saying to her, I feel like you should still watch it because, they're going to add things for entertainment purposes. So it still might be fun to watch, even though you know what happened and stuff. But yeah, so that was cool. And I saw the trailer for This England, the new Black Panther film, which is really exciting. I do really want to go and see the new Black Panther as well. When I saw those mermaids, I was like, yes, like I find that stuff so cool. And yeah, I'm really excited to see that film. And then also She Said looks really good as well. And I just found the whole concept of, you know, how trailers are picked for certain films. And obviously a film like She Said is very fitting because The Woman King, again, is all about women. The focus is on them. And so is She Said, obviously the subject matter. Well, they're both still actually like dark, deep subject matters in both films. So yeah, it makes sense why they picked that trailer. There was also this film starring Daniel Craig. I can't remember the name of it now, but I'll put it on the screen. And when I saw Janelle Monáe, I was like, oh, that's so cool. I love her. But it was like one of those films where it's like an all-star cast and it grips you in. But I was so confused about the plot. I'm like, what actually is this? Like, I wasn't moved to be like, oh, I need to go and see this film ASAP. So I absolutely loved the film. If you haven't seen The Woman King, you need to go and see it. And I was thinking to myself the other day, I was like, I wish that, you know, like when you buy an all-day travel card, you can go anywhere within reason all day. Hence the name. And I wish with cinema tickets that if you purchased a cinema ticket to go and see The Woman King, for example, on Saturday, I wish that all day Saturday you could see as many showings of The Woman King in that cinema as you want. I feel like that would be so cool if people could do that, or cinemas added that kind of option. Obviously, I understand that they're going to make money. So if the later bookings throughout the day or the earlier bookings throughout the day aren't booked, then it'd be cool if you could use that ticket to go and see it as many times as you want during that day. I think that would be so good, because I feel like when you watch a movie for the first time, there's only so much that you can take in. There's so many things to take in. There's no way, well, some people might, depending on how your brain works, but for me personally, I cannot pick up on every nuance, every aspect to the music. I can't pick up on every single thing like that. Lighting and sound. There's so many things to pick up on. Even, for example, like Harry Potter, I've watched for years over and over again. And I love it when I pick up on new things, even till this day. So to watch a movie once, there's no way you're going to pick up on everything. So that's why I feel like it'd be cool if cinemas added that option, and throughout the day you could just see it over and over again and just pick up on different things. I feel like I'm rambling a bit, but I really loved the storyline. There was a plot twist that I didn't expect. I loved the acting. It was just so amazing to see the representation, like so many dark-skinned women, beautiful hairstyle, all naturally beautiful. It just made me proud to see women like that on screen. And I remember in the Breakfast Club interview, Viola, Gina, they talked about, you know, how much of a struggle it was to get certain things in this movie. It was just a fight all the way through. And how Hollywood, this kind of movie scares them because we never see this much dark-skinned black women in the front line in films. And obviously Hollywood's main concern is going to be how much money they can make. It's a business at the end of the day. And dark-skinned women, we're not desired typically in the media and mainstream media. As Malcolm X said, the most disrespected woman in America, and I feel like it can extend to many other parts of the world, is the black woman. So Hollywood are probably thinking, now if the cast is pretty much all black women, who's going to want to go and see this? And they were emphasizing in the interview that you need to support. Like, support is not just being like, oh, liking a picture on Instagram or watching an interview. Support is, in this kind of context, you need to go and see the film, pay your money, part of your coins. Then Hollywood are going to be like, right, we need to make more of these movies because it's bringing in that bank. So if you haven't seen it and this kind of concept sounds interesting to you, you know, feed that curiosity and go and see it. There were some beautiful pieces throughout the film. There were even moments that nearly brought me to tears, you know, when it's just like really beautiful music, especially them violins. One thing about those violins, they're going to get me every time. So you got the instrumentation, beautiful instrumentation, coupled with emotive acting. Emotive acting, emotive music is like a recipe for waterworks. So I'm like, oh my God, am I going to cry? Am I going to cry? I didn't cry, but my eyes were welling up. So beautiful pieces throughout the whole film. The whole soundtrack is nice. I was doing some tasks the other day and I was listening to the soundtrack. Not once when I was doing what I was doing, I wasn't thinking, oh my gosh, I need to go and skip this track now. Like, please just get this off, get me to the next track. Like, it's a nice listen from start to finish, which is always good. I would say some of my favorite pieces from the soundtrack are and I love the music in the film as well. Like there were scenes where you would see people dancing and singing. I thought those moments were also beautiful as well, like the African drums that would accompany that. Beautiful, beautiful scenes. With that being said, overall, I think the music could have been better. Throughout the film, I was thinking something is off and something is missing. And I could put my finger on it in one sense, and in other senses, I couldn't put my finger on it. So what I could put my finger on was, I was thinking, this sounds very South African inspired, South African influence. And then when I was looking at the soundtrack as well, there are certain pieces where it literally says it's performed by a South African choir and South African artists. And in the film, if I recall correctly, there were loads of different accents. You had like West African accents and South African accents within the film. And I think the film justified that because there was, if I recall correctly, there was a scene where someone was almost like getting at someone for being different. They were othering them. And then the person who did that, they were checked by someone else and was basically saying we're all the same. Because I think in the film, people had been captured as slaves, like different Africans had been captured as slaves throughout the whole continent, and then they had been brought to Dahomey. So I think that was the film's way of justifying it. But from doing some research into what actually happened, from what I've read, the Dahomey only there's a lot of language that implies that they only enslaved other Africans from the West African region. Though from what I've read, it will either explicitly say West Africa or nearby kingdoms. So there's no way that they would be, enslaving people from South Africa. It's so far away. So I thought that if that was the case, like, why would you create music that sounds almost South African? Like, I feel like it should have all been West African or had at least majority of a West African sound. And obviously there's not one West African sound. There's so many different countries that make up West Africa. But I feel like different sounds within those regions could have been used. I would have preferred that. But then I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't know why people made the creative choices that they did. Who knows? He could have had more West African sounding sounds, and maybe that could have been turned down. Like, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And when I was doing more research into who scored the movie, shout out to Terrence, I found out that he's from New Orleans. So big up New Orleans every time, one of my favorite places in the world. And now I understand why the music sounded so beautiful. I mean, so many talented people come from New Orleans, but it made sense to me. I'm like, okay, he's from New Orleans, from America. This is probably why I felt that something was missing and there was almost some disconnect, because even though you can be from another place and do all the research, have all the knowledge in the world about a particular subject, movie star, etc., I feel like it would have been cool if, like, I don't know, someone from West Africa scored the film or had more of an involvement in the film. Maybe they did as well. I haven't looked at the entire credits of the music. Like, I don't know who was involved entirely. But I feel like if someone was leading it from a West African background, maybe I wouldn't have felt like something was missing, or they might have got the music right, in my opinion. Because I feel like if it's someone who's actually from West Africa, they're going to understand, well, there's a higher chance they're going to understand the culture and the history. They're going to understand different sounds of the region. They might have had different music passed down to them from generations. It's just going to be different to someone who has maybe done the research that is not from that country. Also, I wasn't really feeling the music used for the trailer. So when I saw it, I heard they were using My Power, which was on Beyonce's The Gift album by Busiswa. Hey, I've even forgotten all the artists on that track, but I do absolutely love that song. I'm going to put all the artists on the screen. And I feel like it grabs you because when you hear those lyrics, you immediately think of those powerful visuals, those beautiful visuals. You think of Beyonce, so it's like, oh, it grips you in. But then I didn't really like the sound after that. Like, I feel like it would have been cool if they used some, again, West African sounding sounds. And obviously within the trailer, you don't really have to stick to the sounds of the time. So for example, in the film, you could hear like more classical elements and then drums, which have been existing throughout the time, and especially throughout the time where the Dahomey tribe was active, where the Ogoje were active, should I say. Whereas with the trailer, you have more creative freedom, I guess, you're not limited to those time constraints. So I feel like it would have been cool. Maybe they could have done like other genres within West Africa that are popular today, like high life from Ghana, Afro beats. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with genres in other West African regions, but it would have been cool if they did something like that. You know how if you watch the credits of a film, there's always like a song that's playing throughout. I really didn't like the song that was playing. So overall, the music sounded beautiful throughout the film, but I don't think it was the right music for the context and for what the film was based on. If you're depicting something, I think the music you should have stuck with, you know, represented West Africa within the score. But still, shout out to everyone who was involved in the music. Shout out to Terrence. Like, I know this is not an easy job. It's really easy for me to just sit here and judge and comment, and I really hope I haven't come across as rude or mean. Like, that is never my intention for any of the content that I create. I'm just sharing my opinion and some constructive criticism. But yeah, that's just how I feel. And yeah, as to reiterate, I know this is not an easy job, and some people don't even like pay attention to the music used in films, or they don't even realize how subconsciously the music affects them in films. But that will be another video for another day. So yeah, I have the utmost respect for music supervisors, for people who score films, the utmost respect, because it's a crucial part of the film to me. If you watched the film, what did you think about the music? If you haven't watched the film, you can listen to the soundtrack still and let me know what you think. But don't listen to the or look at the titles of the songs, because it might give some things away. But yeah, listen to the soundtrack. Let me know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the music? Do you have any plans to go and see it? If you've already seen it, would you go and see it again? Yeah, let me know. I'd love to know what you think. And go and see The Woman King if you haven't already. Support. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't message me your thoughts. Please comment. Let's have a discussion in the comment section, because it helps with the algorithm if you like and you comment. So please do that. Okay, well, thank you. Take care. Bye.